Welcome. Today we're exploring the legacy wavelet and the advantages of our new stereo unmasking technology, SUT. To do so, let's first look at how we hear sound as it is recorded in a room. At the top of the screen, we see a visual representation of a hand clap in a recording. Time is indicated along the horizontal axis, so underneath the initial hand clap, we see the room reflections in the recording starting around 15 milliseconds. At the bottom, we see the summation of the initial hand clap plus the recorded room reflections. The time gap between the initial hand clap and room reflections is important because it tells our ear the details of the size and space of the environment around the musicians. Now let's listen and watch a simple kick drum and clap pattern in 3 dimensions. First, dry. Now with room reverb added. Notice how each kick drum and each clap has its own tail associated with it. This is the detailed information that up until now has been masked when played back in your listening room, but is unveiled by the legacy wavelet with SUT. Here, a simple impulse such as a click is created in a performance room with good acoustics. The green line is the shortest and indicates the direct sound. The dotted line represents early reflections from 25 to 100 milliseconds, and the solid lines represent everything after 100 milliseconds, the multipath reverberation. In this graph, time is displayed along the horizontal axis and level is displayed along the vertical axis. We record the sound and its reflections at the listening position. The direct sound first arrives to the listener. This direct sound is soon followed by a series of early reflections from nearby boundaries. As the sound reflects off multiple surfaces in the performance venue, the density of reflection increases and the level progressively attenuates into a diffuse field. All the cues regarding venue size and liveliness are found in the time relationship and energy ratios of early reflections and the later diffuse field to the direct arriving sound. Room treatments alone cannot restore the temporal errors in conventional recording playback. This graph shows the recorded impulse as reproduced by a high-performance loudspeaker system in a typical listening room of about 3,000 cubic feet. The room has both diffusers and absorbers, as indicated by the early scattering and quick attenuation. Large temporal errors are introduced in the listening room playback, affecting spatial qualities. Reflections arriving far too early affect tonal characteristics. Important depth cues are masked by the density of reflections in the 15 to 30 millisecond region. In an effort to absorb early reflections and improve clarity, the late reverberant energy tapers too quickly. Here we see a frequency and time domain plot. You will notice that around 100 Hz there is smearing in the time domain. This is before wavelet and SUT correction is applied. After it is engaged, you see a much smoother response because we have applied corrections in the time domain. The flagship speaker in the legacy line, Valor, was developed to show off the full benefits of SUT. However, this stereo unmasking technology is also available inside of Wavelet for any legacy audio speaker. Wavelet comes with its own microphone. During setup, you simply place the mic in front of the speaker, follow the prompts on the included app, and Wavelet will run the room correction. If you've ever experienced lingering or boomy bass in your room, you know that simply adjusting the EQ doesn't fully resolve the issue. This is because the issue is in the time domain. Wavelet is able to address these issues by compensating in the time domain out to a 40 millisecond window. Even when the recordist has taken great pains to capture cues from the initial event, playback in any listening room introduces its own unique reflections, resulting in colorations from bass resonances. When the Wavelet's stereo unveiling technology is engaged, it unveils lower-level information that already exists in the recording, but were previously masked by the speaker and room interaction. The SUT can be easily toggled on and off in the included Wavelet app while listening to any piece of music, allowing for very easy comparison. It is important to note that SUT is not synthesizing or adding any information. It is actually overcoming the time errors introduced by the speaker and room and unveiling the information that already exists in the recording, allowing you to get closer to the actual musical event in any listening room.